Jillian, and this is Baking My Way Through College.
One day my mama said, go get your knowledge. So now I'm baking my way through college.
So it's almost Valentine's Day, and that means that love is in the air, and the birdies are chirping, and Cupid's like shooting people with arrows. People just fall in love, and it's awesome. So I decided that I would do a Valentine's themed cupcake episode for you guys, which is awesome. It's our first episode, so everything's gonna be pink and awesome, and that's gonna be really, really fun. So we're making lemon cupcakes, and we're going to do them two different ways. It's going to be a vegan and a non-vegan cupcake. The cupcake base is actually going to be vegan, but the two different buttercreams are going to be one vegan and non-vegan. So that's really fun. So we'll start off putting our wet ingredients in the KitchenAid mixer. We're going to start off with 1 cup of sugar. It's regular granulated sugar. And in baking, sugar is actually considered a wet ingredient, so you have to remember that. So go ahead and put that in the KitchenAid first. Then it's 2/3 of a cup of soy milk. We're going to do 1/2 cup of soy yogurt. Make sure that's all in there. We're going to do 2/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. You can also use the canola oil, just any sort of a light tasting oil. And then we'll do our lemon zest, and it's 2 tablespoons. Alright, and then we'll do 1 tablespoon of vanilla. You can do a little bit less if you don't really taste vanilla, but I love vanilla, and vanilla and lemon go really well together, so we'll do 1 tablespoon of that. Now, I have 1/2 cup of lemon juice here, but I'm going to save that until we get all of our dry ingredients in so nothing curdles. So, I'll lift this up and give it a tiny stir. Alright, that's good. Now we're going to put our little flour cover on here so we don't get flour spray all over the kitchen. And I'll go over to my dry ingredients. Now we have 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. You're going to make sure you get the all-purpose and not the self-rising flour because we're going to put leavenings already in this. Alright, and then it's going to be 1 teaspoon each of baking powder and baking soda. Do a teaspoon. And then 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we have a little 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And you have to remember to always put salt in your sweet baked goods because it just makes them a little bit sweeter. Okay. And we will go ahead and just do a little sifter. You always want to sift your dry ingredients as well because you don't want there to be anything gross. Maybe there are some sort of lumps in there. So. Alright. And I like to do my sifting on just like a paper plate. That way you can kind of fold it up and funnel it in here. And we're going to put this on stir and add in our dry ingredients. And we'll go ahead and put our 1/2 cup of lemon juice in here. Now every so often you're going to kind of bring it down and scrape the sides so you don't have any lumps in there. And let that go. And that's good. Any sort of small lumps, you know, everything bakes out. So if you got tiny little lumps in there, that's totally fine. Go ahead and hit my disher. This is a 1/4 cup disher, and I find that that is perfect to fill these about halfway. Alright, and like every cupcake recipe that I make, I don't know if it's my problem or the recipe's problem, but if it's 24 cupcakes, I usually get 18 or 19. So I got 19 today, which is still fine. You know, 24 cupcakes is overkill anyway. So now we're going to move these to a preheated 350-degree oven and put it in about the middle rack. If your racks are too high or too low, you can just take them out and move them. You know, very easy. Just make sure the oven's on first so you don't burn yourself. But yeah, so 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. I check mine after 15 with just a little toothpick and make sure it comes out clean. If it's wet, then you put them in there for 5 minutes longer. You just kind of check them. we're going to start on our 2 different types of buttercream. I'm going to start off with the non-vegan buttercream, which is going to be a blackberry Swiss meringue buttercream. So that's super yummy. And a Swiss meringue is basically 2 large egg whites. And you have to make sure you're doing this in a really super clean bowl, because if you get any of that residual cake batter in there or any of the pieces of the egg yolks, your egg whites are never going to mix. Okay? Then we're going to go ahead and add in here 1 cup of granulated sugar. And we're going to give that a little bit of a mix. Alright, now we're going to move this concoction over to a pan with simmering water. And you're just going to cook it over a double boiler for about 5 minutes or until everything's all dissolved and it'll look kind of light and fluffy. Alright, so you have to make sure that your pot underneath here is simmering water only and not boiling. If it's a little bit too high, you know, just kind of bring it down. Now you want to make sure that you're stirring continuously throughout this. You make sure all the heat is distributed evenly. That way everything cooks at a certain temperature. So nothing curdles and nothing stays too granulated. Alright, so we have our egg whites and sugar off of the stove. As you can see, once everything's all melted, it'll be light, you know, and fluffy, kind of sticky like marshmallow consistency. Now you're going to slap your bowl back onto your mixer, and you're going to use your whisk attachment. And you're basically just going to whip this up on high. Alright, so once we are at, you know, a really nice shiny, kind of almost stiff peak, we're going to go ahead and add in our butter, 2 tablespoonfuls at a time. The recipes should take about 1.5 sticks, but sometimes if you can't get it right, you need the other 1/2 stick of butter. So we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to turn our mixer on medium. And then once that one's all incorporated, we'll add the other 2 tablespoons. Alright, so right after your first installment of butter is done, I like to switch to my paddle attachment. So you got as much air as it can give you pretty much with this in the beginning. So I take that off, and then I go ahead and switch to my paddle. And I let that go. Then I again just keep adding the rest of the butter in there. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the whole stick. Because I see this isn't giving me enough volume, so I'm going to do the whole extra stick of butter. So these are count up to 2 whole sticks. Alright, so Swiss meringue comes together actually pretty quickly. Basically, if you feel the bottom of the bowl and it's cold, then you're good to go and you can kind of speed it up and everything will kind of work in. So let me show you the texture it should be at this point. You may still have some lumps of butter in there, but we're going to finish mixing it. But it should be nice and thick and pipeable. You can hold it upside down, hold it over your head. It's good. Nothing's falling off. So now at this point we're going to start flavoring. I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. It's 1/4, and that's a 1/2. I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And then I'm going to do a little 1/2 teaspoon of the zest of lemon. And now for the blackberry part of this, I just have blackberry jelly. You can use preserves, you can use jam, you can actually do any berry if you like it, but I thought blackberry would be a little fun today. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 tablespoons of blackberry jam, or blackberry jelly, excuse me. Alright, and we'll lift this up and let this go. So at this point, it's pretty much all together. And you can give it a taste and kind of adjust flavors the way you want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick little taste. It's good, but I think it could be a little more lemony. So I'm going to go ahead and put another, looks like 2 teaspoons of lemon juice in there. Go ahead and scrape down your sides. And just kind of let it go for a little bit more. Now, once everything's all mixed, this is what your frosting should look like. It's a nice pale pink color. So everything's nice and fluffy. So that's a nice little pipeable consistency. And we're just going to put that to the side and start on our other frosting. Okay, so now we're going to start on our vegan lemon buttercream frosting. I'm really excited about this one, so we're going to get started on that. So basically what I'm going to do is start off with 1/4 cup of vegetable shortening, all vegetable shortening. Make sure you don't use lard. Lard is a completely different thing and it's really gross, so don't even try to use that. And 1/4 cup of vegetable margarine. Earth Balance makes a really good one, and it's all vegan, so go ahead and go for that one. We're going to add this to our mixer. And we're going to cream this on medium until it's light and fluffy and everything's all mixed together. Alright, so once everything's all incorporated in there, we're going to go ahead and add our zest and our juice to this. Now, I like a lot, I think it's going to be really limiting, so I'm going to go ahead and do a really big heaping tablespoon of zest. It's probably a little closer to 2 tablespoons. And we'll go ahead and we'll do 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And I'm going to stir this just for a little bit. And now as I scrape this down, I'm also going to, right after that, add about half of our confectioner sugar. And this is a total of 2 cups. Sometimes you need a little more, a little less, depending on how thick or thin you like it, and also how humid the air is around you. So we'll go ahead and do about half. So we're going to do 1 cup of our confectioner sugar. And start it off on low so you don't get like a gigantic gush of confectioner sugar in your face. So. Alright, so now that first one's all mixed in there, I'm going to add the rest of my confectioner sugar. Dump that in there. And we're also going to do 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. 1/4 and 1/2. Alright, you're going to make sure your sides are all scraped. And again, start this on low. And it is done. Everything's all incorporated in there. Good. And we'll go ahead and we'll give it a little bit of a taste to make sure all the flavors are correct. Nice and lemony. Good. Alright, and now we're going to pop this in the fridge for probably about 5 minutes to get a little firmer than this, and we're going to start icing our cupcakes. Alright, so we're going to pipe. We're going to do like a simple little dome piping on here. Just start off in the center and just kind of go around. Pretty. Let's pull extra on there. Okay, and then we have a little topper to go along. It's Valentine's Day, you know. Right? And that's our non-vegan blackberry buttercream. And now we're going to pipe these. We're going to start in the middle and just kind of go around. A little slower if you don't have the practice. And get a little rose pattern in there. Do a little decoration. And then a little bit of the little candied lemon peel that we did. Just gonna do a little dot here. And little dots in the middle. And measure vegan lemon cupcake. Alright guys, so now everything's all piped and looking pretty. And now we're going to go ahead and go in and we're going to taste one. So I'm going to do one of the non-vegan ones. Give it a little taste. So good. That's awesome. I love this cupcake. So you can go ahead and make this for your loved one or your mom. I think your mom would really love it if you made it for her, so you should go ahead and do that one. And yeah, so there you go. And we have vegan cupcakes 2 ways, one vegan and one non-vegan, with a blackberry buttercream on this one and a vegan lemon buttercream on that one. This has been Jillian with Baking My Way Through College.
One day my mama said, go get your knowledge. So now I'm baking my way